Hail and welcome. In this video, I will be talking about the Three of Cups, seen from the perspective of three decks, and how such a seemingly joyful and straightforward card can hold deeper secrets. Starting with the Wildwood deck. Wildwood is a kind and gentle deck, and it gives both good and bad news in a nice tone and a constructive manner. I'm not a morning person, so starting with this one along with coffee is a good way to start the day. A basic way to describe the Three of Cups is the feeling of joy and celebration with others, and I think that is visible here. I don't know exactly how birds express happiness, but they look happy enough to me. And the card is even called Joy in this deck. These are cranes. And since this is a druid deck, the symbolism of the cranes is likely linked to their tendencies to avoid direct confrontation, making them symbols of the ability to keep the peace and balance. You can see here that their legs and wings give hints of triangles. And if we look below the cranes, there are three cups standing on green grass. And if lines were drawn between these chalices, that would also form a triangle. They all have different colors and designs. So here's an idea of three objects of the same type together, but they are different. So something's going on here. All in all, this is a card with a nice feeling to it. Togetherness, imbalance, and celebration. Let's move on to the Rider-Waite deck. This is a classic deck, which most people start with when learning tarot. To me, the Rider-Waite is educational. The images make it very easy to get an idea of what's going on in the card. Like a documentary, very informative and factual, but it does not go too deep. It's on a mundane everyday life level. Here we see three women with flowers in their hair and their arms joined together in a celebratory toast. On the ground there are some vegetables growing, hinting at the fertility aspect of the card. And here is also the theme of three things that are same but different and joined. But here it's represented in the women's dresses of different colors. The mood of the card is very similar to that of the previous one in the Wildwood. Happy celebration and all is well. Now let's just dive into the ocean of the Toth deck. Toth is complex and full of symbology from many traditions, but it also feels like a very direct deck. It doesn't sugarcoat things. In this card here, there are no animals or people, just three cups overflowing. They are joined together in unity by lotuses, but they are not really different, so we have to keep looking. The cups looked to me like they were made of grapes, but it's actually pomegranates. And here is where the road takes a turn for the dark. The pomegranates is to represent the Greek goddess Persephone and Demeter. According to myth, Persephone was the beloved daughter of fertility goddess Demeter. Persephone was peacefully picking flowers one day when the god of the underworld saw her and fell madly in love. He basically abducted her and took her with him to the land of the dead. He clearly had some things to learn about love. Anyway, this naturally devastated Persephone's mother, and she started to neglect her duties as a fertility goddess. So all the crops on earth died, and everyone starved. The world became a cold and miserable place. Zeus, who was the king of the gods, probably got a lot of heat from Demeter, who wanted her daughter back. And he probably also realized himself that this endless misery on earth had to stop. So he spoke to Hades and said enough is enough, and ordered him to bring Persephone back to her mother. And although Hades was bound to obey his king, he was very crafty about it. He did not want Persephone to leave. So he tricked Persephone into eating pomegranates before she was about to leave, and with that trapped her in the underworld. Because if you eat something in another realm, be it the world of the dead or the world of fairy, it binds you to that place. So just a gentle reminder not to eat when you are visiting other worlds, even if you're feeling a bit peckish. So you can imagine Zeus' frustration about this situation. So what he did was he came up with an idea, and to be honest, I'm not sure he thought really long or hard about it, but at least it was an idea to solve the conflict. He made a deal with Hades. The amount of seeds she had eaten from the pomegranates would determine how many months she would spend on Earth with her mother, and the rest of the time she would spend with Hades in the underworld, like a joint custody agreement. Well, it turned out to be 8 seeds. I can't imagine how Persephone felt about this whole ordeal, but despite being kidnapped by her husband, she eventually grew to love him. I know, it doesn't make sense to me either. So, how does Persephone and Demeter connect to the Three of Cups? Well, when Persephone returns to Earth every year, her mother is happy, spring comes and crops grow, linking them to the fertility aspects and the joy of spring when life returns to the land. And by spending time in both the land of the living and the land of the dead, Persephone has a profound understanding of the 3-part cycle of life, death, and rebirth. It is the eating of the pomegranates that seals Persephone's fate, or in other words, caused her myth to take its complete form, like a triangle is the first complete form. There is also some strange kind of love triangle going on with Demeter, Persephone, and Hades, where all 3 get what they want through compromise. And what about the same but different that we've seen in the other cards? Well, I think it's found here. 3 gods that all love something, but in a different way and with different approaches. But there are yet more mysteries to be found in this card. If we look at the background, the cups are standing on dark water. Why? Now this is really interesting. It turns out that the water is a reference to the 3rd Sephiroth on the Tree of Life, Bina, who is sometimes referred to as the sea. Bina is about understanding and completion, and by being the 3rd Sephiroth, she completes the triangle. 2 lines can't do much, but when you add a 3rd, it makes sense. It has a form. For a quick overview of the first 3 Sephira on the Tree of Life, I will leave a link in the description. Bina is linked to all the 3s in tarot, and all the 3s are linked to different aspects of understanding and completion, because without Bina's understanding, there would be no triangle. A quick look at the astrological aspects of the card. It's Mercury in Cancer. Mercury is a planet that represents communication, and the zodiac sign of Cancer is known for its emotions and intuition. So these 2 put together roughly translates into emotional intelligence. That's it for now. Thank you for listening.